Okay, so remember that foot could be on the floor, but everyone's top half through this is going to be all the same. Tall spine, shoulders are softened. Even now, don't let that gaze drop down because we're trying to just always elongate that spine, stretch ourselves out. So wherever you are for you. All right, now I do know that when I first started learning this pose, I don't know why, but I would hold my breath. Don't hold your breath, please breathe. This is when I would be looking around the room to make sure I could see everyone's chest moving. Not that I called anyone out by name, but I would bring it to their attention. I just know for me, I used to do that all the time. I have no idea why, but I did with this particular, there's a couple poses I did that with and I don't know why. I guess like in life, when things get uncomfortable maybe, we change our breath. One more breath. Exhale. Everyone is going to round that spine. Everyone's going to be really rolling those shoulders forward. I'm going to actually bring my arm in front of, on the other side of my leg because I think I can get a little bit smaller that way. Just breathe right here. So even while you're breathing here, feel as if that forehead's trying to get down a little lower. Remember I said we're trying to scrunch down as small as we can. So if you focus on that forehead trying to come down a little lower, it'll help with where you're going. One more breath. Exhale. I want everyone to straighten up that spine. Here's the thing. We like staying in we're a slouchy society. We like being slouchy. Straighten up that spine. Roll those shoulders back. I hope you hear me in your sleep. Wake up in the middle of the night hearing, straighten that spine. Roll those shoulders back. All right, get that hip going. Really flex that foot. Toes are trying to come back. Work that hip. Trust me, we're going to be working these hips and you're going to be thankful you did. All right, one more. Let's go the other way. Nice and easy. One more for good measure. All right, hold that there. Point and flex, move that foot around every which way. Sometimes you hear cracking, sometimes you don't. This side of is super cracky. This one was not. All right. So I think we're going to work our shoulders just a little bit more before we move on to those legs, just because when we go to do our pigeon, we will be working our shoulders. So I think we need to warm them up just a little bit more before we move on. So, all right, I just want you to do that same like we did before. Legs are just shooting off those hips. We're going to lean out. I want you to feel first as if someone's pulling that string, so straighten up that spine. Add that twist just like we did earlier with the modification to that side stretch. This time we're just going to make some nice slow circles with that arm. We're working that shoulder. All right, now you can go whichever way you'd like to start because we're going to go both ways. Every time, either way you're going, every time that arm is by the ear, I want you to give a little stretch out with those fingertips, just feeling a little extra stretch, just a little pause right there. All right, just nice and easy. Stretch way out. Now everyone's circle is going to be different. Nice, slow and controlled though. You're just working that shoulder. We're going to do two more this way. Give that pause when that arm's by the ear every single time. One more. All right, when that arm gets to the bottom, we're going to change direction. Remember I said we're going both ways, so it doesn't matter which way you prefer to start with. You may have a preference, and maybe it's not the way I do mine. It's all right. Two more. One more. Making that circle as big as you can. All right, bring that arm down, and then we're just going to slowly roll over to the other side. Now, as you're rolling, I can feel that I did it myself, so I'm going to tell you. I immediately just started kind of slouching again. So pull that spine out, pull that string if you need to, pull that shoulder back. So you're adding that twist, pulling that rib cage back. All right, start your circles. Now remember, if you've had any kind of shoulder injury, surgery, your arm may be way down here, perfectly fine. You could be doing tiny little circles down here. You have to do what feels right for you. All right, two more. Remember, give that pause every time that arm is by the ear. One more. All right, when the arm gets to the bottom, change direction. Nice and easy. One more. Slow and controlled. So this would be definitely one of those that one side may do something that the other side will not, especially if you had some kind of shoulder injury or surgery. All right, we're just going to breathe right here. So both arms across the legs, let that head relax. And I just want you to take some few breaths right here. You could be slightly shaking your head no. You could be still, or if you'd like to, you could push those forearms towards the floor while you lift that spine for the ceiling. Only hold that for 2 or 3 breaths though, and then let that go. All right, just breathe right here. Take one more breath and then we'll do a little baby push-up. So on your next exhale, hands on those knees, elbows are tucked in. We're trying to only use our arms to push up. Nice. Roll those shoulders back if you need to. Like I said, I'm all the time, this feels good for me, so feel free to join in, but if that doesn't, you don't have to. All right, we're gonna stretch out those legs a little more before we start our pigeon. So I want you to be out to the edge of the seat again. I want you to really flex that foot. Toes are trying to spread out and come back at you. All right, here we go. So leg is just trying to be straight. It's if as you bend, or maybe you might not even be able to get your leg straight, that's perfectly fine too. If you are able to get the leg straight, even when you go to fold, it's gonna naturally wanna put a little bend in it, and that's fine. Don't be forceful with it. All right, here we go. Nice deep inhale. Stretch way, way, way up. We're gonna pause, stretch up, and then we're gonna exhale. I want you to hinge only from your hips. You're keeping a flat back as long as you can. When you get to your point, then you can curve the spine to finish folding over. Now, you could be reaching for your foot or leg if you'd like to for holding on. Hands could be reaching for the floor. Maybe for you, your hands are on your thighs for support, because maybe right here's your point and you need that support to help hold yourself. That's perfectly fine. We're just gonna breathe right here. You could always flex that foot a little bit more. You're gonna feel a little bit more of a stretch up that leg. Two more breaths. One more breath. Exhale. I want you to stack those vertebrae. Let the head and arms hang, and the head is the last thing to come up. Nice and easy. All right, bring that leg in. So if you're able to, as you're rolling up, just think about this. The arms are just hanging, head's hanging. It's an extra weight really as you try to stack the vertebrae. So as you're folded forward, think about the vertebrae coming up and then that head's the last thing. For me, visual things are very helpful. Maybe they aren't for you or some of you. For me, they are. Have you ever seen one of those, it's like a snake toy. I've seen them made out of plastic or wood, and it's like little chunks, and you hold on to like the tail, and you just move your wrist, and then those chunks go, and it kind of weaves back and forth. I think of that when I'm stacking up my vertebrae. I think about if I was holding that thing sideways and all those little chunks just stacking up. For me, visual things like that help. So I am all the time thinking those sort of things in my head when we're doing it. So if that helps you, or if you even know what I'm talking about, then, or whatever works for you of just helping you to get to understand what your body should be doing. All right, other leg, straighten up that leg, flex that foot, toes are trying to spread out and come back. Nice deep inhale, here we go. Hold that breath for a moment, stretching up, and then exhale. Hinge from those hips, flat back as long as you can, and then when you get to your point, you can curve that spine to finish folding over. Just breathing right here, nice deep breaths. Remember, we should have that nice Darth Vader breath while we're breathing in and out through that nose. It's a very throaty breath. Maybe flex that foot a little bit more. One more breath. Exhale. Let the arms and head hang if you're able to. Head's the last thing to come up. You know what? I'm sorry. I should have said, if you get lightheaded or dizzy at all, when we're in that forward fold, instead of having your head drop down like this, you could just have your gaze just about a foot in front of your foot. Don't let your head drop down. And you, even as you come up, just keep that gaze up. I'm sorry, I should have said that. So hopefully you didn't get dizzy or lightheaded while we were down there, but for future reference, that's a little trick that you could do to help with that. All right, let's take 2 nice deep breaths. Stretch way up, exhale. Just a nice little breather. We're gonna move on to our pigeon here in a moment, and it's gonna get a little deeper stretch, so I will tell you that. It might get a little uncomfortable. Nice deep inhale. You could always alternate the palms if you'd like, but you don't have to. So as we start going through this, as we build, we're gonna do our arms, our legs, and then we're gonna combine the 2. It's gonna get a little more uncomfortable as we go. So focus on your breath. Just visualize maybe the breath coming in, the breath coming out, just to distract your mind a little bit. Think of happy thoughts, whatever works for you. But I will tell you it's gonna get a little uncomfortable. All right, but you're gonna be fine. You're gonna do good. All right, we're gonna start those arms, and we'll start the full pigeon pose, work our way up to it. All right, so we're gonna lean out on that leg just like we did before. Pull that string, roll that top half of that rib cage back so that shoulder's coming back. And we're just gonna raise that arm straight up for the sky if we can, and our gaze is gonna be on those fingertips. Now, this might not work for you. Your arm could be way over here, down here, that anywhere, whatever works for you, but if it's possible, shooting straight up for the sky. And we're just breathing right here. Really, this is kind of just getting that shoulder warmed up. We're just focusing on that breath. One more breath. Exhale, we're gonna weave that arm through, go to the other side, make sure that spine is pulled out, pull that shoulder back, other arm is shooting up for the sky. Just breathe right here. Like I said, we're just getting the shoulder warmed up. We're gonna go back to that other side and go deeper here in a moment. Just breathe right here. Just focus on your breath. One more breath. Exhale. We're gonna weave through to the other side. Okay, little by little, we're not matching our breath or anything, we're just going deeper. I want you to just keep moving that arm. It's gonna go back as far as it can. Gaze is trying to follow. Both sits bones are staying on the seat. We're just gonna breathe right here. Just breathe, breathe, breathe. Remember, we hold this a little longer. One more breath. Exhale. Ooh, I can feel my shoulder. I don't know about you. Here we go, other side. Little by little, bring that arm back. Now, you may get to the point where the arm will keep moving, the gaze won't follow, or vice versa. If you're able to move either of them or both, keep moving them. And then breathe right here. I don't know about you, but I always start feeling some burning through my shoulder, onto my back, even on my arm a little bit, but everyone's different on what they feel through this. We'll take one more breath. Ooh, weave that arm through. I don't know about you, but I can feel that. All right, just breathe right here. We're only gonna take a couple breaths here and then little baby push up. Take 2 more breaths. One more breath. When you're ready, exhale, hands on those knees, little baby push up, elbows are tucked in. Nice. Okay, shrug those shoulders back if you need to. I don't know about you, but I need them. All right. So we're gonna start those legs and then we'll combine the 2 together for the full pose. And then this will be our highest point, our hardest stretch for the day. And then we'll do a couple little slow down things. I will say that next time we are going to be getting up out of our chairs and we're going to work on our balance. So just be prepared for that. All right, so we're going to start with those legs. Now, everyone's going to have the top half the same. We're all going to have a nice tall spine. Shoulders are going to be softened. So maybe for you, let's all start with our right leg. Maybe ankles are just crossed. That might be where you are. I do want you to, even if your ankles are crossed, everyone's going to have that foot flexed and trying to spread the toes out and coming back. Remember, I tell you this all the time because we're strengthening our feet and we're stretching them out. Just think how much they're doing all day long, holding all this up and all the things we're requiring them to do. And we're trying to prevent falls and things like that. So we need to be strengthening and stretching our feet out. You're going to get tired of me saying that, but it's just very important. All right, maybe you can bring the leg up a little. Maybe it's right here. Or maybe you can, little by little. The end goal for this one is to have this bottom leg, the ankle is stacked under the knee, and that other leg is on top. Make sure you're out to the edge of that seat, but not too far out that you're going to fall. Now, the end goal for this would be for this leg to be completely parallel with the floor, and as you can see, mine is not. If you want to right now, we're going to straighten that spine and we're just going to breathe right here. Maybe for you, this is a deep enough stretch. I can feel it right here, but I'm going to still give a little bit of pressure to my knee, trying to work that down so I can feel it even deeper through that hip area. We're still really flexing that foot. Please don't have your foot hanging on for dear life. That ankle needs to be on that leg. If we were in class together, or if you have someone with you, you could always have them look at you to make sure that, because it is sometimes hard to tell. If that bottom leg is at an angle, it's making it easier for you, so that's why we want to bring that up and have it nice, straight up and down. We're going to take 2 more breaths. We hold this one longer. Just breathe right here. This is when I'm trying to be chatty Cathy in class and to distract you from the fact, because for me, this is uncomfortable. I don't know about you. All right, on your exhale, bring that leg down, help it if it needs it. We're going to do the other leg. So remember, your ankle could be crossed, but that foot is flexed, toes are trying to come back and spread out. So maybe right here, this is where you are, or come on up. All right, I'm going to walk my bottom leg. This is much easier. I'm not feeling that stretch right now in that hip, but when I get into position and I straighten up my spine, I can feel it. It's a deep, deep hip stretch. All right. So I'm going to give a little pressure to my leg. Yep, I can feel it. So just do what works for you. So if you're new to this, welcome. Happy you're here. If you're one of my regulars, my normals out at IDA, I miss you guys a lot, and I cannot wait till we're back together again and we can catch up on everybody's stories, and because it's just a fun group. I really miss seeing people. Ran into a few people here and there, even while I was in Toledo, which is nice. I even got some hugs. One more breath. Exhale. If you need to help that leg, put it down. All right, now we're going to combine for the full pose. We're going to get the leg up there, and then we're going to hinge forward, just like we did over that forward fold where we're trying to keep a flat back as long as we can, only hinging from the hips, and then we're going to add a twist, and those arms are going to be shooting up and down. I will say all this now so that way I'm not holding you crazy long in the position. While we're there, your focus could be fingertips shooting in opposite directions. Your focus could be more at getting the fingertips closer to the floor, or your focus could be that top arm trying to open up more. You decide. I normally, while I'm there, I kind of play around with it and change what I'm doing, because we stay in this one for a little while, longer than most poses. So with that, keep that in mind that you can play around with it. Also keep in mind, because we're adding the legs with it, your arm there might be a few that this will be is not the case, but when we're down here, that top arm's not going to go anywhere near as far back as it did before. Don't worry about that. It's not a big deal. It's because you're adding those legs and your body's in a different position. So let's all start off with that right leg. Let's just take a breath. Nice deep breath. This is a good just breather, just taking a moment, but it's a good stretch. You should be elongating that spine, and then we're stretching out those arms. Just nice and easy. Shrug those shoulders. All right, Let's start with that right leg. So maybe you're right here. So regardless of where the legs are going to be, we're all going to do the top half the same. Okay, so you get where you need to be. Get that bottom leg in the position. All right, I'm going to scoot out to the edge. Now, we're going to just breathe right here for just a moment. All right, we're going to have those arms are going to be down. We're going to take one more breath. Exhale, we're just going to bring them shoulder height. We're not scrunching them up. They're nice and relaxed. We're going to hinge forward. So I want you to have a flat back. I'm not moving that far. Now, whichever leg is up, that opposite arm is going down. It can be in the hole or over to the side. You decide. The other arm is shooting straight up. I'm going to go this way. I'm going to put my arm on, and I'm going to grab hold of my leg to actually try to go a little deeper. Just breathe right here. Remember, we hold this one a little bit longer, so just focus on your breath. I'm feeling this on my back. I'm feeling it over here on my hip. I can even feel it in my shoulder. I'm going down a little bit deeper, and as I did that, I could feel it across the tops of my shoulder. Two more breaths. One more breath. Oh, I'm feeling all sorts of things right now. Help that leg down if it needs it, or put it down. Remember, when you feel that stuff happening, magical things are happening. Things are stretching and doing what they need to be doing, so that's a good thing. But if you feel any like pain, and you know what pain is, come out of it. Don't think you have to stay there. If you think you're hurting yourself, don't. But it should be a little uncomfortable because you're stretching things. So you know your body, do what feels good for you, but I don't want anyone to be hurt. So just nice and easy. All right, same thing. Let's just get in position. Remember, maybe just your ankles are crossed, or maybe you're just right here is fine too. You're still gonna, you'll be adding that opposite arm to that leg and twisting. So just get in position. Get that leg nice and stacked up under there if you can. This is great if you're near a window or a mirror or something that you could like see a reflection even, just to see, since we're not, if you're by yourself. If you're with somebody doing this, great, have fun together and have them check to see how your leg is. So I think mine's okay. So we're just gonna take a breath here. Nice tall spine, shoulders are softened. Just breathe. One more breath. Exhale as we bring those arms up, and then we're going to just slowly hinge forward. It's not huge because I can tell I need to round my back already. If you rounded, you're not getting that same deep stretch, flat back. So whatever leg is up or on top, I should say, and the opposite arm is going straight down for the floor. So regardless of where that is for you. All right. Now I feel like, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like when I go this way, my top arm does not come back as far as the other side, and that is okay. Like I said before, you know, depending on what you've been doing and everything, and especially if you're right-handed, left hand, one side's probably going to be better than the other. Just breathe right here. I'm going to change the position of my arms. Keep trying to go deeper with it if you're able to, but maybe you just stay right where you're landed. That's fine too. Especially if you're new to this, or maybe you haven't been doing, even if you've been coming to my classes for a long time, maybe you haven't been doing as much exercising or stretching lately. Or maybe you've been doing yard work, 'cause it's been so nice and you're extra sore, so maybe you can't. One more breath. Nice and easy. Ooh, I'm feeling all sorts of magical things. Shrug those shoulders if you need to. Wow, that side was much tighter than my other side, for sure. Shrug those shoulders. All right, we're gonna take 3 nice deep breaths in. I always go up on my toes. If you've noticed when we do any of these breathing ones, you don't have to. It's just because I'm so short and I like to have my legs parallel with the floor, so I do, but you don't have to. All right, I was gonna go out this way. We're gonna go forward. Palms are gonna face each other. Stretch way up, palms are going out. You're working those shoulders just a little bit more because it might feel good after what we've done. exhale, inhale. Just going with your breath. One more. Shrug those shoulders, really big. All right, we're just gonna do some slowing down. So I want you to walk those feet back out again. We're just gonna rub the bowl a little bit more, and then we're gonna just do some cat-cows to be still and focus on our breath. So you could scoot out to the edge again. If you think you're ready or wanted to, depending on what your level of is for the stretching, you could always walk those feet back a smidge or walk them out even just a smidge farther than you already were if you wanted to make it a little more challenging. Now we're only going to do this one twice both ways. Before we did it 4 both ways, but we're only going to do it twice. You should be able to tell that you feel a little bit looser and you can make your circle a little bit bigger, and you probably can get a little bit lower. So don't wimp out and pull back, hold back on it. Go as deep as you can. So real nice and slow, we're just gonna rub that bowl. Nice and easy. Coming down as low as we can. Stretch way, way, way back. Pause, keep going. Last one this way. Stretch way back. Other direction. Nice and easy. We're only going to do one more this way, but give that pause back every time, even before we finish the pose. Before we finish the stretch, that's part of the stretch. So still give that extra stretch and then come up nice and tall. Walk those feet in, not all the way together. We just want them shooting straight off those hips. All right, we're going to just do some cat-cows. And then we're just going to do a little bit of breathing, and then I'll just let you sit wherever you are with some quiet time. All right, so hands on those knees. They're never going to leave. Don't feel you need to match with my breath. This would be when I tell you in class, it's better to close your eyes and not think about pay attention to what anyone else is doing, because your body will just automatically sync up with them, and you don't want to. All right, here we go. We're going to take a nice deep inhale. And we're going to scoop up. We're going to pause, holding our breath for a moment. Shoulders are pulled back, chin is shooting up, curving that spine. Exhale. Rolling on through. We're stretching through the arms, curving the spine, tucking the chin, and going back and forth. Back and forth. Now, every time through, you should feel that your spine is able to get looser and looser. Back and forth. Close those eyes if you're able to, unless you feel uncomfortable and not settled with the eyes closed, but just think about that spine loosening up with every time through. We're going to do that 2 more times all the way through, both ends, and then we're just going to meet in the middle. Really try to let that head fall back at the top. One more time all the way through. Everyone's breath is a little different, so it's okay if we're not done at exactly the same moment. So if you're done, go ahead and start getting settled in that seat. Just going to be still for a few moments. All right, so we're going to just get settled in those seats. Shrug the shoulders a little if you need to. Remember, you could just be right here, perfectly fine. Hands are just comfortable in your lap. Maybe just one leg is up. That's fine too. Your hands wherever is comfortable for you, or both legs up. You decide. All right, I want everyone though to have a nice tall spine. Shoulders are rolled back and softened. If your eyes aren't closed already, just go ahead and try to close them if you're able. I know some don't feel maybe safe, comfortable, relaxed to have the eyes closed. Maybe that makes them feel a little edgy, so don't. That's okay. But if you're able to, go ahead and close those eyes. We're just going to focus on our breath for a few moments. Nice deep breaths. You could always slowly count as you inhale. And then as you go to exhale, you could slowly count but add 1 number. And then just build your numbers, because that's a good way to check to see if you're building up that breath. Just taking nice, good, proper breaths the way God intended for us to is just a real good way to get settled, especially if you're feeling anxious, nervous, anything like that. Just like when you have anxiety or anything, a lot of times, or if you even just feeling scared, you don't start breathing, you get shorter and shorter with your breath. Just try it, if you're able to, just slow down and take some nice deep breaths. So I'm going to close us out, but I would just ask that if you're able to, just enjoy being still for a little bit. You could just pause this video and then just be still for a little bit. Try to just calm down, just have a moment. It really does help, especially with the way things have been lately. Just have a little quiet time, just focusing on that breath. Maybe think about all the blessings in your life. It's a good focus to have. Instead of focusing on the negative, think about all the positive things. The fact that the sun is shining today and that you have another breath in your lungs is a blessing. So maybe that's where you start. All right, so I'm going to close us out, but I would like it if you'd just stay right where you are and breathe there for a little bit longer. Palms are going to come together though, pausing at our forehead, and that's just a reminder to keep good, pure thoughts and our focus on Jesus. And then down to our lips, and that's just to make sure nothing but positive things are passed out into the world. And then down to our hearts. And that's just to let his love shine for others to see him. So the light in me honors light in you. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste. I can't wait till I can see everyone in person, but I hope you'll join me next time. And we will be getting out of our chairs, working on balance. Have a wonderful day.